a phone call, 2 leaders, and one looming trade war. Canada's new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, just got off the line with President Trump. And while both sides called it constructive, the message underneath was crystal clear. We're ready to retaliate. The gloves are off. The tariffs are back. And Carney isn't rolling over. So is this a rare moment of diplomacy or the first shot in a fresh U.S. Canada trade showdown? Let's dig in. Sources say the conversation between Carney and Trump was civil, but tense. Both leaders agreed to begin post-election negotiations on key issues: trade policy, cross-border energy, defense and NORAD, economic cooperation. But that's where the harmony ended, because Carney didn't just show up to listen. He came to push back. And Trump? He's still holding the line on 25% tariffs imposed on Canadian steel, lumber, and autos. This wasn't a handshake. It was a pre-fight stare-down. For those who don't know, Carney isn't your average politician. He's a former Bank of England and Bank of Canada governor, a heavyweight in global economics, a central banker with sharp elbows and global clout. He's not just politically savvy, he's financially lethal. And now, he's Canada's Prime Minister, taking office in the middle of an economic war with the U.S. That's no coincidence. Carney was elected to fight back, and to do it with numbers, data, and leverage. It started on April 2nd, when Trump rolled out new tariffs on Canadian autos, lumber, aluminum, and select food exports. His rationale? America first. Canada second. He accused Ottawa of currency manipulation, unfair subsidies, and dumping, a familiar Trump playbook. But the move blindsided Canada's new government, triggering a full economic war room response in Ottawa. Now Carney is making his move. Carney didn't mince words. In his statement after the Trump call, he said, "We're prepared to work hard to find solutions, but we will protect Canadian workers. Retaliatory tariffs are on the table." Translation: this isn't diplomacy. It's a warning shot. And Canada has already been wargaming how to strike back. Potential targets: U.S. agriculture, especially red state crops. Consumer goods like whiskey, diapers, and paper. Energy products, where Canada is a key supplier. If Canada hits the right pressure points, they can make sure Trump's base feels the squeeze. This isn't just about Trump and Carney. The two men now leading talks are Dominic LeBlanc, Canada's trade minister; Howard Lutnick, Trump's new commerce secretary and former Wall Street executive. Lutnick is known as a hardline capitalist. LeBlanc, a loyal Carney ally with deep roots in labor and industry. These two will hammer out what comes next. Will there be compromises on tariffs? Will Trump demand new concessions on energy or defense? Will Carney walk away if U.S. demands go too far? The tone between LeBlanc and Lutnick will set the course for the next decade. Trump's team has been leaking what they want: more U.S. access to Canadian natural gas and oil exports, tougher enforcement on currency policy, greater alignment on China containment strategies, concessions in automotive trade and cross-border EV rules. It's a laundry list. And Carney's response? We'll talk, but not on our knees. This could become a tit-for-tat marathon where each side demands more than the other is willing to give. And in Trump fashion, it might all explode over a tweet. This isn't like the last round of U.S. Canada tensions, because Carney brings something different. He knows Wall Street, central banks, and international finance. He can speak Trump's economic language. And he doesn't need to posture. He can hit where it hurts. And unlike former PMs, Carney isn't trying to keep Washington happy. He's playing for Canadian sovereignty, economic independence, and worker protection, even if it costs him politically. Trump may find he's not negotiating with a junior partner, but with a peer. Yes, and fast, if Canada hits back with tariffs. Trump doubles down with more trade restrictions, or either side pulls out of existing energy deals. This could escalate into a full-blown economic war, with ripple effects across auto manufacturing, U.S. farm exports, cross-border infrastructure, and even NORAD and defense cooperation. We're talking about $800 billion in annual trade on the line. And all of it now depends on two men with very different visions of the world economy. The Carney-Trump call was just round one. Now we enter formal negotiations, media messaging wars, and behind-the-scenes pressure from lobbyists and foreign allies. Canada will try to build a coalition with the EU, Mexico, and Japan to push back on Trump's unilateralism. Trump will test how far Carney is willing to go before folding. And both sides know whoever blinks first loses leverage for years. This isn't just a trade dispute. This is about power, sovereignty, and who writes the rules of North American commerce. Carney just made it clear. We'll work hard, but we're not afraid to fight back. Trump, as always, is daring him to try. The diplomacy is polite. But make no mistake, the war footing is already here. Who do you think has the upper hand, Carney or Trump? Will this trade conflict blow over, or are we heading for another round of tariffs and retaliation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Libertarian Uncensored for sharp, honest, no-spin analysis of global power struggles and economic warfare.